All right, you would avoid it. You were speaking about high quality businesses and a buffet to choose from in India. Where else would you get that buffet better than one of these Indian hotels, restaurants itself, right? So Nigel has with him Puneet Chhatwal. Nigel, Mr. Damani was just speaking about the opportunity that we have in India when it comes to so many sectors, and hospitality has been one of them, which has seen to be, a bit of a secular uptrend and a macro uptrend as well, where we are seeing in terms of behavior change. You have Puneet Chhatwal with you.
Well, that's right, Mangalam. Thanks a lot for that. And Mangalam, this time around it's going to be double the marker, because we're going to be focusing on two sectors, which is a big opportunity. One is, in fact, obviously the hospitality sector, and the other one is the stock market. We have with us Mr. Ashish Chauhan as well as Mr. Puneet Chhatwal, who join us. Thanks a lot, gentlemen, for being a friend of CNBC TV 18 and supporting us over all these years. Well, Mr. Chauhan, you go first. Tell us about this dip in volumes that we've seen in the recent past, and how are you feeling about the markets? Clearly, there's a lot of liquidity on the domestic front, which is clearly holding one end up.
In a way, the volumes have dropped over last 1 week. And expect to drop further, especially in derivatives, because of the new regulations that have come into effect. And the liquidity overall from the Indian side is pretty nice. At the same time, the foreign money was going out, and now I think it has started coming back in. So probably we'll see some good momentum there.
Well, the broad sense is that this, drop in volumes could be just in the near term, because there are a couple of levers as well in place to see a pickup as well. You have more stocks getting added in the F&O, so some part of that will be offset. What's your outlook in terms of volumes? And the domestic participation, sir, is something that's really something that's, has caught everyone's attention. And everyone is part of this equity cult that we're developing here in India.
I think equity cult is where we need to focus on, but regulators also rightly worried about the derivatives and over speculation, and it has happened before in other countries like Korea. Even in India, if you recall, in May 24, literally the currencies market, currencies derivatives came down to close to zero. And that is true in Korea in 2012. The government also took kind of stand against heavy speculation, and then today also after 12 years they have half the volume of what used to be there in 2012. So I wouldn't kind of bet against the regulators in any case. So I would say everyone should take this in their stride, that derivative is something the regulator is clearly not wanting to have activities in a high, sort of a big way. Equities investment is what the regulator wants, and I think that is the correct way.
Well, indeed, the focus more is on investing rather than trading, and ultimately it's to develop this equity cult into a stronger one for a longer duration. Well, thanks a lot for that. Well, Mr. Chhatwal, it's the most wonderful time of the year, is what normally we say during Christmas, and for your industry, it's probably the best. I personally am going to be traveling at the end of this month, and getting a room is quite difficult. Airfares are going through the roof as well, so you must be feeling very, very good about business.
Yeah, that's true that Q3, and especially the months of November and December, have always historically been the best on a pan-India basis. But I have to say the entire year has been good. The last 10 quarters for us have been historic wins. I don't see that changing in the near future because of where India is positioned today. And, even though 75 years later, post-independence, hospitality sector is here for a mid to long-term scripting, a new story, and contributing significantly to the growth of GDP in the country, to direct jobs and indirect jobs. And I cannot specify enough, as I've done all the time in my journey with CNBC, this is the sector that is the biggest multiplicator of jobs globally, both in organized and unorganized sector. And we feel very honored and privileged to contribute our share to it.
Okay, and do you think that this is going to be practically one of the best end of the years that we have seen in the last many, many years?
Well, every year you ask the same question.
But this time I want to know if it's even better.
It has to be. Whatever we did yesterday was yesterday. What we do today has to be better than yesterday, and what we do tomorrow should be better than today.
Indeed, and also on the room rates, when I quiz you about that, you've told me, but Nigel, it still didn't move for many, many years, and now it's catching up. Is there more headroom out there? The customer side of things are a little bit nervous when you talk about this part of it, while your shareholders are enthused. I think in the last 1 year or so, last 1 month, I think, it's been one of the outperformers, Indian hotels.
Well, stock market is one thing that has been answered by your other guest, Mr. Chauhan. But I think our job as management is to deliver, and our job in terms of customer centricity is to meet or exceed customers' expectations. So the price-value relationship has to be so good that the success is sustainable. And I see no reason that institutions like Taj, as the oldest operating company of Tata Group, should not, keep delivering on that promise.
Yes.
And we usually say we promise, we deliver, and we deliver a little bit more than what we have promised, and that mantra stays on.
Well, thanks a lot, Mr. Chauhan, as well as Mr. Chatwal for joining in. Well, interesting comments coming in from veterans of the industry, and they are sounding very, very optimistic. But I believe, Reema, you have got another guest with you, so over to you.